Hello folks, welcome to Lex IAS Academy. In this video, we will be discussing a current affair topic presented to you by a faculty, Sushma KP. So what is the topic that we will be discussing today? Big move by Modi government shakes up the entire global world as well as to Pakistan. What is such a thing that is shaking up the world right now and also creating attention to Pakistan? In today's video, we will be seeing why is it news, what is the relevance of it to UPSC, that is your GS paper 1. Look at this. Prime Minister Narendra Modi led central government has lifted the ban on Indian rice export, which has increased the pressure on other rice exporting nations including China and Pakistan. So, is this the big news that India has reduced restriction on India's rice export? Is this the reason why the entire world is so flared up and Pakistan has to worry? What is the significance of this? We will see in the throughout the course of the video. Okay. Before we get into the topic, there is a small announcement from Legacy IAS Academy, wherein for those of you who are working professionals or graduates or students who are still in graduation, if you are still clinging on to your dreams of UPSC civil service examination, we at Legacy IAS Academy are offering weekend batch for UPSC civil service examination preparation, wherein throughout all three stages of exam, prelims, mains, and interview, you are handheld and hand guided, be it with respect to your mock test series or mains answer writing or your mock panel interviews. We are there in every step to provide a personal guidance as well as personal mentorship. To make sure this has to be the prime key achievement here, we have kept the batch strength at limited 40 member capacity. Do register soon as the seats are filling up faster. Another thing, if you want to know or if you have queries such as what if my background, that is, let's say my educational background, where I have lost connect with it, my foundation is not very well, it's not strong enough, you do not have to worry about that, because at Lexias Academy, irrespective of which background in your graduation you are or whether your foundation was good or not, Lexias Academy offers you first basic foundation NCRT courses, bring you to bridge the gap of whatever you feel was lost, and then start you with advanced classes. To see how the classes are going on, if you wish to attend a demo class, you can go to Lexia's mobile application and instant access to demo class can be seen. Otherwise, if you want to have an offline demo class, you can schedule one too. Any details regarding this will be provided in the description box below. Do check that out. We have weekend batch as well as your regular batches too. For those of you who are attending prelims in 2025, Lexia's Academy has come up with all India prelims mock test. Do make avail of this, see how your preparation is and do the necessary changes. Coming back to the topic, I will tell it to you like a story, you listen to it like a story. It is just rice, like in the topic that we saw. It is about rice. That much of implication is there for reducing restrictions on rice exports, or what was the need in the first place to put a restriction on rice exports? The first and foremost, if you see, rice is a staple food in your African countries, Asian countries, East Asian countries. Now it is also in your European countries they're trying to move on, and also with your American countries. So rice is a staple diet. And one thing I will tell you this. See, you all know about this. Your developed countries, developing countries, least developed countries. Largely your African countries will come into this type, least developed countries. See, India is not a stranger to hunger. But yes, we have good amount of advancements. You would have seen this common criticism that comes in the form of India and Bharat, which is at a very high pace. Like we do Mangalyaan missions, Chandrayaan missions at the same point of time. We do have instant. When I say instant, the hunger which is so prevailing, which is so terrible, that is leading to child stunting, child wasting, child mortality, elderly population struggling, your pregnant women, adolescent girls, children, adults, everyone suffering from the cause of your hunger is also in severe. In Human Development Index, India's performance is also very much low, and as a criticism, many countries are even pointing out that India is faring very low. For which India counteracts by telling these numbers are agenda by the West to tarnish India's image. So, irrespective of the fact whether they're trying to tarnish the image or not, the fact that hunger is very much prevalent in India is there. So, time and again, India, and especially we are one of the largest PDS systems, where in your ration shops we give subsidized food grains. One of the main things is your rice. Why I am mentioning this is our rice is fortified, vitamin A added, etc., to deal with the micronutrient deficiencies in our country. If this much is there in our country, then if you consider least developed countries such as your African countries, the situation is even more bad. For example, the major rice that they take or it goes into the African market is broken rice. A rice which is considered somewhat lower in quality, it still maintain its nutritional standards, but still just that rice going to them also is difficult, and they suffer heavily because of that. For these kind of people, getting the rice at a cheaper price is a very, very important thing. Here it is not about the nutritional standards alone, it is about the fact that no one dies due to hunger. So for them, the cost is an important imperative while they have to take rice. And almost 80% of rice exports from India is that is 80% of rice coming into your African countries, so almost 18 African countries, majority it is supplied by India only. And why? Because of the cheaper price, the cost is less. In this condition, India does play a huge role. Rice is a huge role, especially when you're speaking about 13 countries, 17 countries, 9 countries. So basically, you're putting African countries as a chunk and considering this, then it is a huge deal. Now, we said India has eased the restrictions on rice export. Why did it do it in the first place? First and foremost, in your 2022s is when India put a restriction on your rice exports. Whatever rice we are having, we'll have surplus, or because we want to gain more, we tend to export it to other countries and make good money from it. Okay? But India put a restriction on the export of rice in this particular years, which led to other people taking up that role. What India was trying to fill, other people took up those markets, which means good amount of money was gone to them. Which countries? Pakistan, Thailand, Vietnam, these countries. Now, this was in 2022s. Now in 2025, there is easing of those restrictions, which means India is again coming back to the market. Overnight the prices for your rice of Pakistan fell. Why? Because India is coming back to the market, means the rice we will be getting it at cheaper rate. Yes or no? So this happened. Now again the question, why? Why at 2022 it put a restriction on exports, and why at 2025 it is easing the restrictions? Answer is pretty much simple. That is your Russia-Ukraine war. So what happened? Russia-Ukraine war. Russia and Ukraine are related. No, why is India having to worry about it? That is where India has to look for its people. Russia-Ukraine war means the staple had to be kept. Prices will increase. Yes or no? Everything of prices will increase. Inflation will go headward. You will not have an idea as to what will happen. And also, because when more of the people tend to hoard grains, buy more of these. So what if the domestic supply itself falls? In that fear, India had put a restriction on those. And now with your Donald Trump coming into picture, and there are possibilities of negotiation table, Russia and Ukraine bringing different partners to reach a negotiation. The possibility that the tensions have eased off means that India can remove the restrictions on rice. And one more main reason to couple with this is India has taken a stance of boosting its agricultural exports. To meet this target also and to provide income to the farmers, almost 1.4 billion of Indian population is dependent on agriculture. Now, if we have to increase the income for them at the same point of time, see that the global scenario is also slightly changed. It is moving towards something called a negotiation. So this was the right period of time for India to ease this restriction on exports. This is the whole gist of the story. Look at this. India has a goal of increasing the agriculture and food products worth of 100 billion by 2030. Presently, it's around half of it, almost 48.15 billion. So, by 2023-24, we are at 50 billion, if you will assume. Within next 5 to 6 years, we are aiming at 100 billion. So, we are trying to double it. So if we have to try to double it, then we have to ease the restrictions. So recently they have eased the restrictions on your rice. They have eased the restrictions on sugar. Now when India eased this restriction, it came as a good news for many of your African countries because now they will be able to get cheaper rice. This also meant that your East Asian community was also happy. Why was the East Asian community happy? Because now they can use this rice for their animal feed. Your ethanol producers are also very happy. Yes, now the rice can be used. Okay. Once India had taken a back seat in the rice export market in 2022, this role was filled by your Pakistan. It acquired the markets of your Indonesia and East Africa. Now with India coming back into the picture, it is a big headache for your Pakistan. Look at this. Prices of non-basmati rices from Pakistan fell from 850 per ton to 650 per ton. Understanding? Rice varieties we will classify it as basmati rice and non-basmati rice. Non-basmati rice means, for example, your jeera rice, sona masuri rice, these kind of rices. Look at this. US Department of Agriculture estimates that Pakistan will export 58 lakh tons of rice by May 2025, a decline in 11.4% compared to last year. Understanding? Just last year, September, India started easing the restrictions. When India withdrew from the market, countries like Pakistan, Vietnam, Thailand secured the market. Now it is going to be a huge competition for them because India has once again entered the market. Like we mentioned, it will be used for ethanol production, animal feed in your Southeast Asian countries, cheaper rice for your African countries, that is specifically your broken rice. By 2018 to 2020, India was supplying almost 80% of rice to 9 African countries, including your Somalia. So majority chunk of your African countries were the market for your Indian rice. Why was the exports restricted? Because of the war we just discussed. Look at this. S&P Global India exported 14 million tons of rice 2023 with a record of 21.5 tons between September 2024 and October 2025. Just to make sense of what this is, you have to understand this. Look at this. If India exports more than 20 million tons of rice in the global market of 54 to 55 million tons, it will flood the market. And does India have the capability? Yes, if any country has the capability to take over that, then it is India. Now we will see some factors for prelims with regarding to your rice. It is a kharif crop. Of all the produce, agricultural produce that we have, 1/4 of our lands are used for your rice productions. Majority state, if you see state wise, which states are very much rice intensive agricultural activity is done, means it is your West Bengal and southernmost states. West Bengal the three crop varieties of rice are called as Aman, Boro. Now for rice cultivation, It requires high temperature about 25 degrees Celsius and high humidity and annual rainfall of above 100 centimeters. Okay. Now, who are the leading rice producers? West Bengal, Uttar Pradesh, and Punjab. High yielding states are Punjab, Tamil Nadu, and Haryana, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, West Bengal, and Kerala, more of your southern states. Okay, with regard to rice, if you see, China is the first largest producer of rice, and India is the second largest producer of rice. Okay, understood up until here? We've come to the end of the topic. If you like our content, subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and share it along with your friends. Thank you.